Welcome to the Memphis Child Advocacy Center's 2021 Honors Day. I'm Virginia Stallworth, Executive Director of the Memphis CAC. Today, we celebrate all who are a part of our work towards safety, healing, and justice for victimized kids. That includes, of course, our Shelby County Child Protection Investigation Team, as well as volunteers and community advocates who champion our work toward helping victims become children again. Today, we celebrate the resiliency of our team and of the kids we serve. We've used the symbol of the ginkgo tree for this year's Honors Day because the ginkgo is revered for its beauty and resilience. The ginkgo has an extraordinary ability to thrive in the face of fire, toxins, and disease. Our frontline staff and SIPIT team members are the backbone of this difficult work, providing essential services following a report of child sexual abuse or other severe abuse. You, our team, have the resiliency of a ginkgo tree. Every day, you face heartbreak. You have days when the stakes are high and there are no easy answers. Yet you continue, because you are driven by your commitment to the kids we serve. The work of defending children from child abuse has always been demanding, and it has been especially challenging during the pandemic. I want to extend my most sincere thanks to our staff and team members who have demonstrated such resiliency and continued dedication. Resiliency is also a quality we see in the children at the Child Advocacy Center. Kids who have lived in the shadows of trauma, shame, and fear, and lived through it. Children who are courageous and who, with the specialized support of our team, find safety and begin to thrive again. Our children and our frontline professionals are supported by a caring community of volunteers, donors, and community partners. Your involvement, your advocacy, and your backing sustains our team. Thank you all for joining us today as we honor our Shelby County Child Protection Investigation Team, along with 4 special honorees.
I am Lydia Cribbins, the Director of Interagency Partnerships with the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. I am so honored to work with each of the members of the Shelby County Child Protection Investigation Team, more commonly known as SIPIT. Each day, each of you makes a commitment to Shelby County's greatest resource, our children. Today, we are here to honor you. All the people who help the Child Advocacy Center and the Child Protection Investigation Team provide a safe place where children find protection, support, and healing. Together, our team responds to every report of severe child abuse and child sexual abuse in Shelby County. Thousands of reports each year. This collaborative work is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It works because we have a shared commitment to the children that enables us to overcome the challenges that can happen when multiple agencies work together. The children who receive services through the SIPIT team are resilient. The work that you do here helps in fostering that resiliency. Not only have you demonstrated this dedication to our children during what may be a traumatic time in their lives, you have done this daunting work during a worldwide pandemic. It has been nearly 2 years since the world was shaken by COVID-19, and this team has continued to ensure that the children we serve are safe, protected, and able to move towards a life full of hope and possibility. Remember this, you too are resilient. You commit each day to helping others. Make sure to take part of each day and commit to taking care of yourselves. There are 15 organizations who make up the team. Bartlett Police Department, Collierville Police Department, the District Attorney General's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Memphis Division, Germantown Police Department, Juvenile Court of Memphis and Shelby County, the Memphis Child Advocacy Center, the Memphis Police Department, Millington Police Department, Naval Criminal Investigative Services, the Shelby County Crime Victims and Rape Crisis Center, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, Western District of Tennessee. Each member of this team is extremely valuable, but today we are here to honor your good work, no matter what form it takes. Whether you are on the front lines of investigation, in direct services, or behind the scenes in administration, development, team services, etc. Your work matters here. The Child Advocacy team and SIPIT continue to serve the children of Shelby County, and we can do that thanks to you. Thank you for all of your contributions and your dedication. We will now take a moment to recognize outstanding members of the team who have demonstrated excellence in compassion, teamwork, community advocacy, and volunteerism. The honorees are nominated by SIPIT members, board members, and volunteers, and are selected by committees made up of those same people in the different areas. The James G. Hughes SIPIT Excellence Award for Compassion honors a member of the Shelby County Child Protection Investigation Team who has demonstrated exceptional compassion to children and their families.
All right, my name is Eric Christensen. I'm the Chief Prosecutor for the Special Victims Unit. And in the DA's office, we're really blessed to have great leadership at the very top. Our DA, Amy Wyrick, our Deputy DA, Ray Lapone, recognized long ago the importance of having a really good group of victim witness coordinators, prosecutors, and investigators in the Special Victims Unit to handle all the abuse cases of our children here in Shelby County. And when I say abuse, I mean, very difficult things to deal with. Murder, we deal with rape, we deal with physical abuse that can last a lifetime for a child, and emotional abuse. So it takes a fairly strong person to do these type of things. And a lot of times people get burnt out, and they'll stop kind of caring what they do, and they'll start going through the motions. Our leadership makes sure that if someone is burnt out, they'll get moved somewhere else, and someone that isn't will get moved in. And everybody in our unit, I think, loves being there. They all do it because it has a lot of meaning for us, and it's something important for our county. The James G. Hughes SIPIT Excellence Award for Compassion honors a member of the Shelby County Child Protection Investigation Team who has demonstrated exceptional compassion to children and their families. And there are a lot of great candidates for this award. Memphis Police Department, Department of Child Services, the CAC, all have great people, and all our folks are great. But this year, the award winner is going to be Devin Dennis, and of our unit. We're very proud to have her win the award. A few things about Devin. She does have 2 young children. And I mention that because it is kind of difficult, just from a life balance standpoint, to take care of 2 young kids and do all that work that you have to do at home. In addition to, we all have about 100 cases apiece. And doing all of that work, Devin has 30 or 40 trials already set in 2022. She has over 100 cases, and they're difficult cases. They're A felonies, they're B felonies, which are the most serious type of felonies that Tennessee criminal law has. Also, having kids it can make you a little paranoid. I've been in the unit a long time, and I've had a couple kids grow up while I've been in the unit, and it's only been about 6 months ago that you start to see things that maybe don't exist, and you start to really worry about your kids. And it was only about 6 months ago that I quit escorting my oldest son to the bathroom, when we were out in public, and he's 18 years old. So, he finally had to brush me away. He got tired of the Secret Service approach. So it's difficult to deal with when you have kids, and we have a lot of prosecutors with kids. Devin does all this, and she doesn't just get by. She does this on an elite level. She does it with a fantastic attitude. She's a great role model, not just for us and everybody on the SIPA team, but for all of our young prosecutors in the office. Some of the toughest cases that we deal with are those cases where we have a victim, or where we have to care about the case more than the victim, where the victim really doesn't care and they're sort of lost in their world. And we had one such case where we had a victim, a young victim. She was 12 years old when the crime started against her. She had 3 crimes committed against her, 3 rapes committed against her from the time she was 12 years old by different people. And Devin recognized early on that it was a product of her environment. It was a product of her mother. And it was really difficult for her to succeed and to get out of that cycle with the environment that she was in. So Devin set about working on that case and trying to get her the help that she needed by using our different partners, the Memphis Police Department, the federal FBI, the DCS. All of our awesome partners worked with her and got her into a therapeutic type of situation that could help her out. And that goes on today, that case. She's still trying to help that girl. And the girl was basically openly hostile to us. She doesn't trust the police, she doesn't trust the prosecutors. It would have been easy for her to give up and just move on to another important case, because we have a lot of important cases and nobody would have judged her for that. But she didn't. She didn't give up. And that is why Devin is this year's recipient of the James G. Hughes SIPIT Excellence Award for Compassion.
Wow, this is such an honor. I first would like to thank Eric for his lovely words today. It means a lot coming from him, because as many of you may not know, I actually interned with the District Attorney's Office back when I was in law school, and I actually interned with the Special Victims Unit. Eric was in the Special Victims Unit then, and he was one of my role models back then, and still is today as my boss. So I would like to thank him for all of his words today. In particular, I went to law school to be a prosecutor, and I wanted to work in the Special Victims Unit. Working in this District Attorney's Office in their Special Victims Unit has been the greatest achievement, I think, of my life, besides for my 2 beautiful children, of course. But when I was an intern in SVU, I actually did my first jury trial with now juvenile magistrate Terry Fertizzi, and I've wanted this my entire life, so this award means a lot to me, and I want to thank everyone for that. I'm asked all the time by friends, by family, by coworkers, how do you do what you do every day? How do you not get burned out? How do you look at all those different kinds of cases? And really the answer for me has always been the kids. What I wonder is how many of our other agencies, how they do their jobs every day. I wonder how law enforcement responds to these horrific crime scenes every day, how DCS responds to these homes and sometimes have the very difficult job of having to remove children from these homes for their safety. I wonder how the forensic interviewers have to interview all of these children every single day. And so I'm very thankful for them and for all that they do for this community, because we couldn't do our job as prosecutors if they didn't do those very hard frontline work. So some days are more heart-wrenching than others, and we all do it, and we all do it for the kids. I was trying to think when I was thinking about what to say here today, about some things that I could say, some experiences that I've had. One particular case came up in my mind. I know Eric spoke of a different one, but there was a case out of Bartlett that was a child abuse case, and it was a very difficult case to prove. We had no doubt in our minds who did it. It was a shaken baby case, and it was the caregiver at at-home care home. And the detective handling the case, Detective Bynum out of Bartlett, did a very excellent job handling it. But I had to have some very tough conversations with the family of that child in how we were going to prove the case. Ultimately, we ended up settling the case on a lesser included charge, which they agreed on. However, when it came to the date of the sentencing, the mother of the victim wanted to read a victim impact statement. As she did read it out loud to the court, I was sitting in there, and the mother was sobbing, and I myself had a hard time keeping it together. Her words were very emotional, very touching. I started tearing up in the courtroom. She, of course, was crying, and as we left the courtroom, her and I both cried outside for about 10 minutes. And it was a hard morning. It was a tough morning. But then that afternoon, after lunch, I got an email from her, from the mother of the victim. And she emailed me and our victim witness coordinator, Carrie Cullum, and she thanked us for everything that we did and how hard we fought for her child, because it was a difficult case. She attached a photo of that child who's now school age and doing quite well, though he does have some delays, and it was an adorable photo of that child. And that's why we do what we do. I was also reminded of another case I did early on when I came into SVU, and it was a rape of a child case that I took to trial. And it was two very adorable, very traumatized little girls. And they did what they needed to do. They got up there on the stand and they testified and they faced their abuser. Ultimately, that case returned a verdict of guilty as charged. The children weren't there that day, they were at their dad's house, but myself, an investigator and victim witness coordinator went to their home. And I was able to tell those little girls, who were about 7 and 8 at the time, that their abuser would never again get out of prison. He was sentenced to over 50 years in jail. Those children were so excited. They hugged me. They even made me little clay rings to wear. And they let me take those home, and I still have those. And so that's why we do what we do. So in accepting this award, I want to accept it on behalf of our entire Special Victims Unit. We all have tough days, but we also have victorious days. We have days where we achieve justice in every sense of the word for these children who cannot speak for themselves. Our unit is such a great team. We really have some of the best prosecutors in the office, if not the best prosecutors in the office. We work so well as a team and really are all friends as well. We take the tough losses, we get the justice that we can, and I really could not do it without them. We also, I'd like to acknowledge all of our excellent victim witness coordinators, Carrie, Lois, Shanika, Emily. We absolutely could not do our jobs without you. Every time I see our Deputy DA, Ray Lapone, he asks how we're all doing, how we're holding up, making sure we're not burned out. And every single time I remember to tell him that I love my job and I love being in SVU, and to please not move me. So Ray, if you're watching this, please don't move me. I want to stay in SVU. And on that note, I want to say thank you again for this award. It means a lot to me.
The James G. Hughes SIPIT Excellence Award for Teamwork recognizes those whose performance demonstrates commitment to exceptional professionalism and team collaboration.
Hi, my name is Pat Lewis. I am the Forensic Interview Program Manager at the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. When our MDT was asked to nominate a team member for the SIPIT Excellence Award, many people came to mind. Because during this past year, everyone has worked so hard in spite of what was happening in this world. Our MDT team had to continue in spite of the things that were happening, because we had to do it for the kids and our family that we serve. It's our commitment that we do serve our family and kids. But one person stood out, and that is Lenarda Parker. Lenarda is the glue to our team that keeps everything flowing. She's that important piece to the puzzle that makes everything fit. You'll notice that sometimes you'll get emails from Lenarda and it's 9 p.m. at night. Lenarda is still gathering information for SIPIT. That's the kind of person that she is. Lenarda is faced with multiple questions and always in constant communication with different agencies on our civic team. She makes her job look so easy. That's because that's just the way she is. Lenarda is an easygoing finder of any type of questions, and believe me, if she doesn't know the answer to it, she's gonna find out. Even Lenarda's giggle is contagious. She's so easy to approach, and when things doesn't work out her way or doesn't go as the day should go, she laughs it off. And during this time, we all need a laugh. Congratulations, Lenarda.
Thank you all so much. To Miss Pat for thinking of me, and to the team of people who decided that I deserve this award. I'm forever grateful. When I got the call that I had won, the very first thing I said was no. I then questioned if that meant I have to give a fancy speech. Then I said, Lydia, you know how nervous I get when the spotlight is all on me. Mind you, I said all of that in one breath. She giggled and said, you deserve it, you'll be fine. So I instantly began to think of what exactly teamwork meant to me and where my values of it stem from. As a child, I was raised by a single mother. And so many times I remember needing a team of people. Sometimes I would get lucky and a team would be provided, but it was never really strong and it just never really worked. So when I began my journey here at the CAC, I remembered my childhood. I remembered standing beside the single mother who needed a team and being the quiet little girl with a smile who needed the team even more. That instantly became my blueprint for what I consider a teammate to be. So daily, I did the work, whether it was sweeping the lobby or greeting families at the door. If it was seeing a teammate's papers on the fax and sending it over to help them, I did that. Or even just looking up an old case for a teammate in need, I did that. I know that all of that may have seemed like a small task for me, but it was a huge help for a team member that needed it the most. It is my belief that the team just works better if we approach it with the understanding that every single part of the team is important in ensuring the team works for the people who need it the most. I pray that I stand as an example that providing support for your fellow teammate may not keep them from bending, but it could be the very thing that keeps them from breaking. So I accept this award with great honor because embodying teamwork helps you all every single day. But more importantly, it helps the children and families we serve. Thank you.
The James G. Hughes Community Advocate Award honors a community member whose efforts in Shelby County demonstrate commitment to the safety and well-being of children.
The Community Advocate Award honors a community member whose efforts in Shelby County demonstrate commitment to the safety and well-being of children. This year's Community Advocate Award goes to Mike Ryle, current Memphis Child Advocacy Center board member and former interim director of the Memphis Police Department. Mike has demonstrated his commitment to our mission, the kids we serve, and all children in our community over and over again. Recently retired after nearly 40 years with the Memphis Police Department, Mike's commitment to the safety of our children, and indeed to the safety of all in our community, is demonstrated daily in his actions. And despite the great demands of his job in law enforcement, Mike consistently has made the time to be an active, hands-on member of our board of directors. He has provided counsel on security and ensuring safety at the CAC for our staff, team members, and the children and families we serve. His commitment to the prevention of child sexual abuse is seen in his work to advance our Stewards of Children child sexual abuse prevention and response training. For the last decade, he has ensured that this training is provided regularly at the MPD Training Academy. Mike understands what is needed to make the CAC's public-private partnership work. Over the years, he has participated in key meetings during our accreditation process, with SIPIT leadership, and with potential funders. And on those sad days, when we raise the Children's Memorial flag, Mike always prioritizes being present. He knows how important it is that we bear witness to the senseless loss of a child. He is part of our call to the community to help keep kids safe. Mike's public remarks at flag raisings, past Honors Day celebrations, and other events reflect his deep appreciation and knowledge of the hard work of our SIPIT team. Always generous with honest compliments, he motivates others with positive feedback and respect. Mike is genuinely kind, caring, and compassionate. His commitment to our children and our community is unwavering. I'm grateful for our long partnership, which I know will continue well into the future. Mike, thank you for your leadership and for your enduring belief in our kids.
Wow, Virginia, thank you. I'm so humbled to receive such a prestigious award and recognition, because I had the opportunity for years to sit back and watch a great team work led by a great leader in you, Virginia. One thing that always bothered me as a law enforcement professional was the injury and pain caused to children through crime. And when I began to delve into the Child Advocacy Center, as we affectionately call the CAC, I saw a team go to work, sit around a table countless hours to bring back children to life, abundant life, and to bring back children to restore them so that they can progress through life in a great way after they've been injured through crime and neglect. The CAC brings forth a community effort to model on how to do this approach, whether it's through forensics, through counseling, through medical, working with a great police department here in Memphis, working with the juvenile authorities, juvenile court, and all the court systems in Shelby County. They bring back children to restore them to a wonderful way to live, and they don't let them go. Sometimes it's lifelong. Attachments are made, bonds are created that help these children and their families to learn how to restore life to these children that have been injured. So, I have enjoyed over the years working with and observing the CAC and how they do things, and it's shocking that I would receive an award because they do the work. But thank you so much for thinking of me. It is great to see that as I pass the baton off, good leaders are still there and still coming. So keep the great work going. Thank you for your great leadership, and again, thank you for this just prestigious award.
The NADIVA Award honors a volunteer who has made invaluable contributions toward the center's mission. NADIVA is a Hebrew word which means noble and generous. It is the origin of the word volunteer.
Good afternoon. I'm Sue Hartline, Development Manager for the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. As stated in the intro, the NADIVA Award honors a volunteer who has made invaluable contributions to the center's mission. NADIVA is a Hebrew name meaning noble and generous. It is the origin of the word volunteer. This year we are recognizing Almeda Smith with our NADIVA Award. Almeda is a force of nature. She has the charm and grace of a true Southerner. At work, she's been likened to a tornado. Almeda was born in Texas and raised in South America. She flew the world with Pan Am, met her husband, then came to Memphis to raise a family. Her friends, family, and church family know her as a tireless worker and dedicated caregiver. Almeda, like NADIVA, is noble, giving, and generous. I've gotten to know Almeda through her volunteer work for our annual Chef Celebrity Gala, a committee she served on since 2009. She was asked to step into a co-chairing role with Georgia Smith about the time I assumed the role of event coordinator. The Chef Celebrity Gala is our largest and most profitable fundraiser of the year. The gala is also our oldest event. Funds raised at the first gala in 1989 went to renovating the historic brick building that is still home to the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. In 2015, Almeda and Georgia were asked to co-chair this big, glamorous event by Carol Prentice herself, the founder of our gala. If you don't know Carol, you've seen the results of her impressive philanthropy efforts if you've ever been to the Prentice House at the CAC or if you visited the Memphis Zoo. At the time, I was relearning a role previously filled by Virginia Stallworth, another woman with a proven track record. There were some high expectations, to say the least. Almeida's dedication to Carol, her friends on the committee, and most of all to the kids at the CAC meant that she was determined to make this work, no matter what. Under Almeda and Georgia, the gala grew even bigger. We had our highest grossing gala in 2018. Almeida's noble spirit helped carry us through 2 years of a pandemic. It takes a great deal of gutsiness to lead a fundraising effort in these challenging times. Thanks to Almeida's fortitude, the gala has successfully retained 75% and more of our pre-pandemic funding for the past 2 years. Almeida leads by example. She's hands-on. She contacts volunteers, solicits donors, and writes thank you letters. She totes and carries, sets up and breaks down, and is present from beginning to end. Almeida, you are a true friend and committed servant to the kids at the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. You share your time, talent, and your treasure. You share your opinions and your expertise. You open your home and you put your family to work. Thank you for all you've done for the kids. As our gala looks to the future and returns to our traditional in-person format, the blueprint for success is clear. You've retained the high bar set by Carol Prentice 32 years ago. You've held true to the values of the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. You, like our team and supporters, insist on the very best for our kids and families. You are Nadiva. Since you accepted that first co-chairing role to now, you have helped raise over $2 million for the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. You deserve this very special spot on our team and in our story.
I'm so honored and humbled by the nomination for the Nadiva Award. I must first thank Carol Prentice for the trust that she placed in me to help chair the Chef Celebrity Gala. Hers were very big shoes to try and fill. Her support through the years has been invaluable. Our gala committee and our CAC development team have been instrumental in helping to keep Carol's dream alive, and I thank them from the very bottom of my heart. You are the little engine that could. You work so hard to make the gala a success each and every year. I'd also like to thank my family for their support. I first learned about the Child Advocacy Center as a gala guest. I thought, what a great organization, what a great cause, and what a great party. That led me to join the gala committee some 13 years ago. The work that the Child Advocacy Center does to heal the most innocent of abuse victims and to help educate in the prevention of child abuse is a tremendous service to our community. I always knew that that work was very important, but it really didn't hit me until I came across a victim one day. While I was working on the committee and out canvassing for donations, I met a young lady who was at the cash register. And as she was checking out, she told me about her experience with child abuse as a young child. She told me that she had gone to the Memphis Child Advocacy Center and that we had saved her life. She told me that because of the help and the counseling that she got, she was able to lead a normal life and have children of her own. It is because of children like her and also those whose lives have been lost that I have found a passion for working for the Child Advocacy Center. The last 2 years have been particularly challenging for us all. COVID, lockdowns, lost jobs, and stress have seen a rise in the number of abused children. This makes our job even more important so that we can continue to help those that need us the most. But through all the ups and downs that we've seen through the years, the Gala Committee has endeavored to soldier on in order to raise money for the Child Advocacy Center. We could not have done this most important work without the support of our patrons, our table sponsors, our vendors, the donors who help us fill teddy bears and line the auction tables. You are the best of the best, and I share this award with all of you.
I'm Sandy Bromley, and I'm with the Shelby County Crime Victims and Rape Crisis Center, and I am honored to close out today's Honors Day ceremony. The theme for today was resiliency is resiliency, and we often hear that phrase, especially after discussing crimes against children. We say, well, children are resilient. If a child witnesses domestic violence, we think, well, they probably won't remember. Or if a child experiences direct physical or sexual abuse, we think, well, they don't know any different, or they'll be okay. And that's probably true if they were lucky enough to come through the Child Advocacy Center. The kids who come here are fortunate enough to find law enforcement and children's services investigators who believe them. They're fortunate enough to connect with a forensic interviewer or a forensic nurse who validate their experience and start them on their path towards healing. And they're fortunate enough to continue on that path with a victim advocate or a therapist who will remind them over and over again that this wasn't their fault, that no one deserves to be abused, and that they can recover from this. But what if they didn't come through the CAC and their case wasn't staffed through SIPIT? What if they kept that trauma to themselves? Or worse, they disclosed that trauma to someone they trusted who didn't believe them? What if they mustered up their courage to tell somebody and that person either didn't believe them or didn't want to cause an issue within their family, their workplace, or their church? It's those kids that I worry about the most, and it's those kids I know you all worry about the most as well. A local Adverse Childhood Experiences survey tells us that 20% of adults in Shelby County have experienced child sex abuse. That's 1 in 5 people in our community. 1 in 5 people who are standing in line with us at the bank. 1 in 5 people who are sitting next to us at the next table at a restaurant. 1 in 5 people have suffered the severe violation of their personal and psychological safety at a time when they should have felt the most safe. At a time when they were supposed to have the least amount of worries or cares. So think of all that trauma out there. Think of all that unresolved trauma out there. Because unfortunately, those 1 in 5 people did not all come through SIPIT. And they did not all come to the Child Advocacy Center. They did not all get to experience the healing powers of validation and trust and respect. So first, let me pause and thank you all again for the work that you do. Thank you for helping so many victims become children again. And secondly, I want to ask a favor of you and a favor of all of us. Let's not be ashamed to talk about child sex abuse. Let's not be ashamed to talk about trauma. And then let's not be ashamed to talk about the need to heal that trauma, whether that's with formal therapy or informal self-care. Let's not be ashamed to admit that we might need to do a little work on ourselves in order to continue to do good work for these kids, that we might need to get a little therapy tune-up in order to maintain good and healthy relationships with our partners or with our own kids. Let's also make sure that we talk about the fact that so many people in our community have experienced this trauma, and that we normalize the desire to heal that trauma. That seeking services is a courageous step towards reclaiming resiliency. That even as professionals, we normalize seeking help. Whether that's from your faith leader, your gym, your therapist, or Mother Nature, we all need to be intentional about self-care and about taking care of ourselves so that we can continue to take care of others. It is no longer a badge of honor to work ourselves to burnout. It is not helpful to model that behavior for our staff or for our clients. Instead, let's live out the resiliency we want for each of the children that we serve. That is my hope for each of you, Please take care of yourselves and take care of one another so that we can all keep doing the good work of healing trauma in our community. Thank you.